The age-old question, who created the Creator? Ever since humans have been capable of rational thought, one question in particular has continuously puzzled philosophers and theologians alike. If we accept that God created the universe and everything in it, including humanity, then who or what created God? This question, commonly referred to as the causality problem or regress argument, brings up an interesting paradox regarding the origins of the divine being worshipped by billions worldwide. While most modern religious texts agree that God has always existed and was not created by any other being or force, this begs the next logical question. How can an eternal, uncreated being exist? In this video, we will explore some of the key perspectives surrounding this intriguing theological debate and analyze potential explanations that have been proposed over centuries to address the causality conundrum regarding the creator of the universe. The ultimate cause must be uncaused. One of the most common responses put forward by theologians to account for God's existence without needing an external cause is that the ultimate cause of all existence must be uncaused itself. The logic follows that for anything to exist at all, there must be a first cause, which is not dependent on any other cause preceding it. As the Christian philosopher Thomas Aquinas argued, there needs to be a prime mover, or unmoved mover, to set off the whole process of causation and keep it going. For believers, God fits the description of this prime uncaused cause. As a metaphysical, non-material being existing outside of space-time, God would not be bound by the physical laws of causality that define and limit the natural world. Therefore, there is no need to inquire what or who created God, as deity exists atop the chain of caused effects, as the original self-sufficient and self-existent creator. Theologians counter that without positing an uncaused cause as the basis, one is left with an infinite regress, with an endless string of caused causes going back infinitely without any first point to begin the chain. While potentially logically possible, most believe an actual infinite regress is incoherent and implies the universe could not ever have started in the first place without a terminal starting point. God as atemporal and immune to causality. Taking this argument further, some theistic philosophers reason that God, as a changeless non-temporal spirit, would reside wholly outside time itself and is thus immune from causality. Causality implies at least a before and after sequence of events, but God transcends linear temporality. So questions regarding God's beginning do not apply, since God has no beginning or end, no past or future in the way finite beings experience time bound within the space-time continuum. This view reconciles God's supposed eternal existence with God not needing an external cause, since to be eternal is to exist atemporally without beginning or end points that causality links together. Such a deity would in fact be uncaused in the sense of being independent of causal conditions that necessitate temporal becoming. God just is, and always was, according to this perspective, omnipresent across all of time rather than progressing through it. Possibility of self-caused or self-sustaining entities. Moving away from arguments invoking God's atemporality or exemption from causal laws, some modern thinkers allow for logically coherent possibilities of beings that are self-caused or self-sustaining. While an infinite regress is still problematic, these philosophers assert it is at least conceptually consistent to envision entities whose existence is dependent on themselves alone rather than some prior external cause. A self-causing entity would serve the role of a terminal point for the regression of causation without needing to invoke the uncaused cause argument. God could simply cause and sustain the divine self through inherent power without any prior impetus or help from elsewhere. Though difficult for humans to comprehend, a timeless, metaphysically primary being that grounds its own reality may be compatible with reason. These philosophers contend. Analogy of necessary being. Another approach not invoking God's atemporality is the modal ontological argument, comparing God's essence to a necessary being. While contingent entities like humans and trees depend on external causes or forces for their existence, a necessary being must exist, and cannot not exist based on the essence of what it means to be that entity. God is defined as the greatest possible being, all-powerful, all-knowing and perfect, and from that essence implying total actualization of all attributes, God's existence is deduced as necessarily following as an automatic consequence. God possesses an inner reason for being, that does not rely on antecedent conditions the way contingent entities do. So God is self-grounded in necessary mode of being and requires no external cause or creator. Conclusion: an eternal mystery, beyond human reason alone. As we have explored centuries of philosophical and theological discussion, have proposed various perspectives aimed at reconciling the concept of an eternal, self-existent God with the logical principle that everything caused has a cause. While rational arguments can be made for divine aseity or self-causation, bypassing the need to inquire about God's originator, the existential fact of an uncaused eternal being likely remains unknowable to human reason alone. Whether positing God's atemporality, the notion of self-causedness, or necessity of being, each approach attempts to make logically coherent what is ultimately a metaphysical mystery beyond full human comprehension. Faith and divine revelation also play a key role for believers regarding theology of God as the absolute ground of all reality. While curiosity and logic have value, humility is needed in approaching life's deepest questions, for which human frameworks provide only models, not absolute certainty. The question of who or what jump-started the chain of causality bringing all of reality into existence may forever remain unanswered, yet endlessly thought-provoking. In conclusion, this age-old conundrum highlights how even theology aimed at rationally articulating biblical or doctrinal perspectives on God faces intrinsic limitations. But ongoing discussion and new insights keep faith dynamically engaged with culture and advances in knowledge over generations. While mystery undoubtedly remains, continued exploration of life's biggest questions enriches both religious belief and secular wisdom. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you in my next video.